so adorable.
There's something about the unknown that gets us all excited. Whether it's a jump scare in a horror film, or the simple whodunit trope in suspense thrillers. The key element that gets the human soul going is anticipation. Similarly, when there's hype for a film, all of us have certain expectations, even though we may not know what it's really about. Now, 2024 has mostly been a mixed bag with some great hits,
Unless you want to take a deep breath through your forehead, I suggest you reconsider.
and some not so great flops. So let's take a look at the top 10 most anticipated movies of 2025. Okay, now I'm well aware of the fact that Jurassic World franchise has mostly been a miss ever since the first installment of the reboot. However, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion did have their moments to shine, and I'm hoping Universal Pictures isn't taking Rebirth lightly. They've already done one thing right, which is hiring Scarlett Johansson to play the lead role, so I do have some hope as a man of culture. I was also checking out the premise of the movie, and as per the official Jurassic World website, there's a lot of potential for this flick. Let me point out an excerpt for you. From the statement presented here, it looks like Johansson is playing a skilled covert operations expert named Zora Bennett, contracted to lead a skilled team on a top-secret mission to secure genetic material from the world's 3 most massive dinosaurs. It also looks like her team is going to meet a bunch of marauding aquatic dinos, but most importantly, they're all going to find themselves stranded on an island where they come face to face with a seemingly sinister and shocking discovery that's been hidden from the world for decades. Yeah, I can smell conspiracy in the kitchen, so all I can say for now is, let them cook.
Wilson.
It's kind of odd as to why the next Captain America movie is releasing on Valentine's Day. Sure, they have a Hulk with the same brand colour, but I don't think red in this case would signify love. Anyway, I'm definitely hyped for this flick, even though I was somewhat underwhelmed by the Disney Plus show that should have kept its focus on storytelling rather than other agendas. Having said that, there's a lot to expect from Brave New World as it explores characters who really should have gotten more screen time back when the MCU was delivering hit after hit. There's of course Thunderbolt Ross, aka the Red Hulk, who's now being played by Harrison Ford, and then there's Betty from The Incredible Hulk, played by one of my prime childhood crushes, Liv Tyler. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Bruce Banner's love interest fits into the narrative. Oh yeah, and there's also Samuel Stearns making a comeback. Yeah, remember that guy? This is the dude who was apparently supposed to undergo some crazy transformation, but then the Universal Pictures contract became an issue. Now that Disney's managed to sort that out, it'll be interesting to see how things go in this movie. It's kind of funny that I've spoken about a whole bunch of characters, but completely forgot about Captain America himself. Sorry, Sam, but Steve Rogers will forever remain America's ass.
That is America's ass.
We'll show the world a better way forward.
You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers.
Must become the assassin.
Ana de Armas may be gaining a lot of attention for her threesome comments with Sydney Sweeney, but that's just show business, baby. She's going to get her own time to shine in the highly anticipated John Wick spin-off Ballerina. One of the biggest selling points of this movie, though, is that we'll get to see Keanu Reeves again as our famed Baba Yaga. I personally still haven't recovered from John Wick's final hurrah, so it'll definitely be my prime reason to go and watch Ballerina in the cinema halls. As far as the plot goes, the film is stated to be placed between the events of Parabellum and John Wick Chapter 4. De Armas plays the character Eve Macro, who's a ballerina assassin training in the assassin traditions of the Ruska Roma. The funny thing is that De Armas is replacing the actress Unity Sickles-Phelan, who had portrayed the ballerina in Parabellum. Of course, it doesn't make much of a difference to us because of obvious reasons. Eve's primary motivation here is to avenge her father's death, so I think it's safe to say that we're going to be in for one heck of a roller coaster ride with the gore factor. After all, is it really a John Wick movie if blood isn't splattering every 10 minutes?
You are him. The one they call the Baba Yaga. How do I start doing what you do?
This isn't done until they're dead.
Looks like you already have.
There is something wrong with me.
may not understand why I've placed the Thunderbolts higher than Jurassic World or a John Wick spin-off, but I personally think this movie will have a lot more to offer than meets the eye. There's a whole bunch of characters with tremendous potential who should be getting their due presence here, especially the Red Guardian, who needs to show us exactly how strong he really is. Getting thrashed in Black Widow wasn't exactly a good look for him. I'm kinda tired of David Harbour only being remembered as Jim Hopper from Stranger Things. Of course, we also have Bucky returning as the Winter Soldier, so I hope he manages to take the lead for once, although I feel that's mainly going to be taken up by Yelena. Most importantly, I really want to see how John Walker, aka US Agent, does on his comeback, because I frankly found his character arc to be the most interesting out of everyone else in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. With conflicting reports of the Red Hulk making an appearance and talks of Sentry also making his MCU debut, I definitely feel that there's going to be a lot to unfold in the Thunderbolts, so it has my current stamp of approval.
You feel fulfilled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so full.
What the hell?
The world of Tron is a very sophisticated one, which is why it's hard to digest the failure of Tron Legacy. At first, this film was supposed to be a sequel, but then everyone decided it would be best to simply relaunch Tron as a reboot and just start afresh. Now, that made sense, but with initial screenplays being greenlit back in 2010, you could say that Tron Aries is almost like a generational movie. As per a statement by Walt Disney Pictures, we know that Tron Aries will be following a highly sophisticated program named Aries, who's sent from the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission, marking humankind's first realistic encounter with AI beings. Yeah, the trope may be the somewhat saturated man versus AI debate, but I really want to see how the creators frame this concept. We've got Jared Leto playing the titular Ares, which means he finally has a chance to undo the whole "it's Morbin time" meme.
It's Morbin time.
Actually, I take that back. Nothing can make the world forget about that hilarious phrase. We can definitely expect to see some cool visuals and a hopefully futuristic soundtrack, so let's hope for the best.
So first of all, where is this in the canon of the Tron universe?
It's the third one.
So it happens after the second one?
Yeah. Pushing the boundaries on the technological level.
I've never hidden my feelings behind the Avatar series. I personally find the movies to be decent and visually spectacular. With the phenomenal success of Way of Water, it was obvious that the third Avatar film wasn't going to be delayed. With the title being revealed as Fire and Ash, we can expect to see a direct change of tone thanks to the opposing elements. Who knows? Maybe James Cameron will channel his prime self who gave us films like Aliens and The Terminator. He seems to want to introduce us to the fiery versions of the Na'vi tribe who are supposed to be the bad guys. If this does happen to be true, then I might just change my stance on the overall franchise, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait until December in 2025 for that.
The title is?
The title is Fire and Ash, which has meaning when you see the film. Fire can represent hatred, can represent violence.
And of the Fantastic Four since I was a kid. I love these characters, and I think we found 4 amazing actors.
Common with Johnny. Well, I suppose he's the youngest of the group, and probably the most foolish of the groups.
Yes, the casting for this particular film has been quite the subject of controversy, but it is publicity nevertheless, which is why there's a lot of anticipation regarding how the MCU version of the Fantastic Four is going to turn out. Of course, it could become a disaster like Joker Folie à Deux, but if the cast and crew manage to pull a rabbit out the hat, then this might just become the new version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I know I'm keeping my hopes way up for this one, especially with the highly disappointing reveal of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt not playing the iconic duo of Reed Richards and Sue Storm. However, that's not to say that Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Cage won't do a good job. Also, I understand the outrage regarding Julia Garner being cast as the Silver Surfer, but I do want to see how they portray her. I mean, it could be a disaster, but it could also be a pleasant surprise.
I really loved getting to know that, you know?
That we can all really relate to.
We can all really relate to. Your mind is gonna be blown.
Couldn't agree with that more, yeah.
So technically, this was supposed to be called Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2. Seemed to scrap that idea, and the movie now remains untitled. What we do know is that it follows Ethan Hunt and his team after the events of Dead Reckoning, which did end on quite the cliffhanger. I don't want to provide too many spoilers, but I do want to see how the whole entity narrative plays out. Also, who doesn't want to see more of Hayley Atwell? I mean, I totally understand why Steve Rogers decided to stay back and live a satisfactory life in Endgame. Moving back to the topic at hand though, there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of running from Tom Cruise, and most importantly, the much-awaited resolutions to the loose ends from Dead Reckoning. I wonder if Ethan's next stunt will involve him hopping onto a Starlink satellite. Man, they're releasing a lot of high-profile films in July, aren't they? The DC Universe has kind of been in a state of limbo after the whole reboot situation with James Gunn. However, I want to be positive and say that the new Superman film may just surprise us all. Yes, it's got a mostly unknown lead cast, save for maybe Rachel Brosnahan, who has acting credits from House of Cards and The Marvelous Miss Maisel. There's not a lot known about the plot, but there are rumors of characters like Green Lantern and Hawkgirl also being in the film, so maybe we'll finally get to see some fair competition between Marvel and DC now.
We need to build our car for combat.
How am I supposed to make that safe?
Who said anything about safe?
Yep, the number one entry on today's list is a Formula One movie with Brad Pitt starring as Sonny Hayes. It almost feels as if this was the role he was born to play, so the hype has been super crazy for the film. During interviews, Pitt provided some details of the plot which can be summarized best by understanding his character Sonny Hayes, a Formula One driver who raced in the 1990s and has to deal with a horrible crash, forcing him to retire from Formula One and start racing in other disciplines. Since this is a story of redemption, one of Hayes' buddies, a Formula One team owner, contacts him and asks him to come out of retirement to mentor a rookie prodigy named Joshua Pierce for the Expensify Apex Grand Prix team. Now, it sounds like a pretty simple story, but we're not going to watch F1 to judge the screenplay. We're going to watch it for all the thrilling races that are going to blow our minds. I've got a really good feeling about this flick, so here's to my adrenaline reaching a new peak in June of 2025. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video that I know you're going to enjoy.